The most crucial mindset shift you're going to have is understanding you are not in the real estate business. You are in the business of multiplying assets. If you have $5,000 in your account, your sole job is to multiply that $5,000. I don't care how you do it, if it's buying a lottery ticket, if it's buying marketing, if it's investing in NVIDIA, whatever it is that you're doing, your sole job in life is to multiply assets. That's the only thing you need to do. So we use real estate sales as the vehicle to make that happen. But I don't want you to mistakenly think you're in the real estate business, because then you'll think when you wake up every day you need more clients, or you need to sell them a house, or you can't find the perfect home for them, or whatever. It's, here's what I got, how do I make it bigger? That's truly the business you're in. And when you get that mindset shift and you wake up every morning, like the first thing I do is check my bank account. I've done that my whole life, but I used to check it to make sure it wasn't red numbers. You guys been there before? Check to make sure it's not red numbers. And I've done it so long every single day that I used to have to call for a balance. You guys remember when you used to call for a balance before internet? And now, like, it's, okay, here's what I got. And when I get a big win, I'm serious when I tell you it doesn't excite me. Like, I anticipated that would happen. I planned to happen. You know what I mean? So it's almost like when we look at the racehorses, I know when we're supposed to win. Like that horse last night, I figured he was going to win. So when it happens, it's, man, I knew that was going to happen. When you get one that was like the long shot that wins, you're like, wow, that was crazy. I had no idea that was going to happen to me. You should expect to get leads, to get calls from that letter you sent out, to get a 7% listing when you give that presentation. You should expect that to happen so it feels like the norm. This is normal and customary in my real estate practice, because you've built your business big enough to make that happen. So when you understand your business is to multiply assets, let me give you some examples here. Let's say I have a rental house down the road here, okay? I have a rental house. I want you to invest in that rental house. You're not a realtor anymore. I want you to be an investor. You can buy this thing for $30,000, but you have to pay cash. In 4 months, we're going to be able to sell it for $295,000. Is that a good deal? You buy it for $30,000. I don't need you to touch it. You don't have to do anything. You got to pay cash. And in 4 months, you can sell it for $295,000. How many of you would do that? Good deal? How many of you would find the $30,000 even if you didn't have it? Let's do this. Think about it. I got that deal today for you. Where are you going to pull the 30 grand from? Think about that right now. Like, where would you, is it from a 401k? Is it selling something you own? Is it I can go without a car for 4 months? Where would you pull that money from? Could you come up with $30,000 if you had to, because you knew it was $295,000 in 4 months? That's marketing. Put $30,000 in, you'll have $295,000. 300 grand, dimes to dollars. If I put 30 grand in, I'll have 300,000. Now we can recognize in a house that makes sense, because it doesn't involve you doing anything, and you don't have to worry about your confidence level and does marketing work, because I don't think marketing works, because I tried all this other stuff and that didn't work and I wasted all my money. But when you realize that you've got a machine that you can put $30,000 in and $300,000 can come out in 90 to 120 days, you start to find the money when you think you didn't have any money, because that's all we're doing is multiplying assets. Yeah, sell another house, you got 30 grand. And then put some of that in. So that's marketing for a real estate licensee. You can buy a rental house. Let's say another example. You can buy a rental house for $30,000. It rents for $10,000 a month, and I already have a long-term tenant in there. Would you guys buy a rental property for $30,000 if it rented for 10 grand a month? That's marketing. Put 30 grand in, you'll bring in 10 grand a month. Like, I want you to look at it that way, that I'm investing to multiply my assets. If I put $100,000 into something, all I care about is how much more am I going to get back. I'm certainly not going to put it in something that gives me a 6% return every year. I'm going to lose money on that deal. I'm losing money. And realize that if you're going, like a lot of people couldn't go 3 months during COVID without money. You're going to need to go maybe 3 decades, but at least years with no income. So you have to think about that number so we can make that money now, or at least create a machine, create a self-milking cow that when I show up, there's milk. That's what we have to get. And that's our system, our business, our model that we're creating here. So one of the things we talked about at the coaching retreat, for those of you that were there, how many of you were at the coaching retreat, by the way? Almost everybody. So one thing we talked about is getting that first $100,000, as Charlie Munger taught us. We got to get that first $100,000. You got to get to zero net worth or expenses, debt. Get it to zero, and then get your first $100,000 in cash. How quickly can we at least do that? Because life gets a lot easier. Once you get all your debt paid off and you got $100,000, you will exponentially increase your business. And if you got those of you that are already way past that, you know, once you made that happen, that's where it started to turn on for you. It might have took you 30 damn years to get there, to pay off all your debt and get $100,000. But once you make that happen, you do become a millionaire almost inevitably. But this is the reason, you'll see a lot of people online talking about this now. This is a true statement when I tell you this. If I'm talking to somebody that's broke now, that has no money, that's thinking about getting their real estate license, or any industry, it is easier to make $1 million than it is to make $100,000. That's true if you own a hair salon. That's true if you are a DUI attorney. That's true if no matter what it is you do, especially in sales. But it's easier to make $1 million than it is to make $100,000. Why is that? Because the mindset. The actions you will take will be massively different to make $1 million than the actions you would take to make $100,000. If I sat here today and said, we're going to make sure that you make $100,000 over the next year, first of all, you would believe that's possible, and you'd be looking for tactics, little changes, little tweaks. If I run this ad, it's only like 10 more closings. I can get 10 more closings in a year. The actions you would take to get $100,000 will not get you to $1 million. The actions you're going to need to take to make $1 million are going to be massively different, and it's easier to make that happen because you have team, staff, support, systems, processes in place, checklists, monthly accountability. You've got all those things in place. It's easier to make $1 million than it is to make $100,000. When I first started coaching, I wished I could figure out how to make $100,000. When I figured out how to make $1 million, I immediately wanted to get to how do I do that every single month. Then you get to how do I do that every single week. Because it's just a change in the approach you're taking. It's not a new little tactic that I can add to my business. If you're here to get a new tactic or a new ad or a sweet little conversion approach, that would make you an extra $100,000. You're never going to get there, and you're still going to work another 40 years in this damn business. So we really have to look at how much easier it is to make $1 million because we're taking a different approach. Let's go that route. Rather than, well, I want to be realistic. Let me just start and try and get to $100,000. You're going to hate your life. You're going to hate what you do. You're going to have, what that means is more clients that don't do the right thing, more co-op agents that never call you back, more inspections that are falling out. That's really what that means for you. It's more stress. And that's why for a lot of people, when they say they're working 80 hours a week and they don't sleep well at night, if I said double your business, you'd say it's impossible. There's not 160 hours I could work. And I can't handle double the business. Well, it's because you're using your current approach. If we can change that and go with $1 million idea, and that's true in every industry, by the way, you're going to operate at a much higher level. So how long is it going to take you to have zero debt and $100,000 investable? Think about that now. If we can really get your business going, how much debt do you have? How much are you going to have to pay off? And then have $100,000 net. Because once you do that, however long you're thinking it's going to take you to have $4 million, cut that time in half. If you think it'll take you 6 years, it's going to take you 3. If I can just get you to that $100,000 that you have available with all debt paid off.
Hey, it's Greg Luther, and listen, if you don't follow this channel, there's a good chance you're never going to see me again. I consistently put out regular content, and it's extremely helpful for real estate agents to grow their business. I want to keep you up to date on what's working so that you're in the know and you can take action accordingly. So be sure that you like and comment here, but most importantly, make sure you follow, share, and subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss out on anything. I'm here to help you in growing your business, and I'd love to do so. Follow right now.